Every day, millions of people open Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube and see someone living a life they wish they had. Luxury cars, private jets, exotic vacations, designer clothes, perfect apartments, perfect lives. And whether we realize it or not, we start comparing, we start wanting, we start believing. But what if I told you influencer wealth isn't just changing what you buy, it's changing how you see yourself? And that's exactly why it's so powerful. And this isn't happening to a few people, it's happening to almost everyone. TikTok Shop alone is projected to generate $23.4 billion in US sales in 2026. Not from ads, from people watching other people's lives and buying what they see. And the reason it works so well has almost nothing to do with the products being sold. It has everything to do with a very specific thing that happens in your brain the moment you see someone living better than you. Here's something most people don't know about TikTok. Its algorithm averages 62-68 impressions per post. Instagram averages 26-35. That means TikTok is showing you almost twice as many people, twice as many lives to compare yourself to, twice as many moments to feel behind. And the algorithm isn't random. It keeps showing you content that triggers a reaction, and nothing triggers a stronger reaction than seeing someone doing better than you. Psychologists call it upward social comparison. It's when you compare yourself to someone who appears to have more money, more success, more happiness. And here's what the research actually found. When you see aspirational influencer content, your brain doesn't just feel inspired, it feels threatened. And the scary part, most people think they're being motivated. A 2025 study found that constant exposure to this kind of content creates feelings of inferiority, self-threat, and a sense that you are falling behind, not because you actually are, but because your brain can't tell the difference between a real peer and a curated highlight reel. Here's something fascinating about how we relate to influencers. Researchers call it a parasocial relationship. A one-sided emotional bond. You feel like you know them, you follow their daily life, you celebrate their wins, you feel their energy, but they don't know you exist. If a stranger showed off a Ferrari on the street, you'd probably ignore it. But when an influencer you've watched for 3 years does it, it feels personal. And because your brain treats them like a friend, the comparison hits harder than it ever could from a stranger. Here's the part that matters most. Almost everything you see is selected, not just filtered, selected. The influencer with the perfect apartment rented for the shoot, the luxury car leased, sometimes borrowed for a day, the watch returned after the photo shoot. The vacation photos sponsored, often taken over a single weekend. The lifestyle that looks effortless is a full-time job of construction. The life isn't real, the comparison is. And that gap between the illusion and your actual life is where the spending starts. A 2025 study on influencer behavior found something important. When people felt inadequate after seeing influencer content, they were more likely to make impulsive purchases. Not because they loved the product, but because buying something felt like closing the gap. Like saying, I am moving toward that life. The product wasn't the point, the feeling was the point. Research identified 3 specific things that happen when you regularly consume influencer wealth content. First, it shifts your baseline. What feels like a normal life slowly changes. A modest apartment that used to feel fine starts feeling like settling. A decent salary that used to feel enough starts feeling like falling behind. Your reference point moves, without you deciding to move it. Second, it triggers rationalized impulse buying. You see the influencer with a product. You don't think, I need this. You think, this is the kind of person I want to be. And you buy the identity, not the item. Third, it creates what researchers call emotional ambivalence. You feel inspired and inadequate at the same time. You enjoy the content and feel worse about yourself from watching it. Both things are true at the same time. 20 years ago, your brain compared itself to a few hundred people. Today, it compares itself to millions every single day. Here's what financial advisors are now actually recommending. They're calling it a financial comparison fast. A designated period, a week, a month, where you deliberately avoid social media. Not because social media is evil, but because your financial psychology is being shaped by it every day without your permission. Here's the key question to ask yourself. When you feel the urge to buy something, is this what I want? Or is this what someone else's life made me feel I was missing? That one question breaks the loop. Because the moment you can see the comparison, you're no longer inside it. Here's the truth about influencer wealth. The most powerful thing it sells isn't a product. It's a feeling. The feeling that your real life isn't enough. That you are behind. That somewhere out there other people have figured it out and you haven't yet. That feeling is designed. It is engineered. It is delivered to your phone thousands of times a day. And it is the most effective sales tool ever created, not because it makes you want things, but because it makes you feel like less without them. The brands don't sell you a product, they sell you the gap. The most expensive thing influencers sell isn't a product, it's dissatisfaction. If this changed how you look at your feed, share it with someone who needs to see it, because the algorithm will never show them this, but you can.